Okay, so I want to do this video because of this comment for one. This sparked up me want to do this video a little bit more, but there's been a lot of comments about it. I mean, a few. I mean, this one, that one bitch ass Chicano mestizo dude who I hate. That dude who wanna be Indian who always be commenting his little 2 cents, but he don't reply to shit. But dude said like a while back, dude was like, what's he say? He said like, oh, because I had said nigga in one of my videos, and dude was like, defending the people who were against that. So dude said, I doubt, I Gary, I'm 100% sure none of his African ancestry is from black Africans. It's probably just from some Arabs who came to Spain, whatever the fuck dude said. So nah, my African ancestry is West African. So I'm gonna show y'all the family where I get my West African blood from. Then I'm gonna show y'all my DNA results and my dad's and such, cause I get all my West African from my dad, who gets it from his mom, and it's not much, but y'all could be able to see a little bit of that. Let's check it out, okay? So it all comes from my maternal grandmother. Okay, so these are her parents. Both from Ecuador, from the coast of Ecuador, where African slaves were brought. Okay, so these are some of their children and some of their grandchildren. So you see, I think out of all of my grandmother's siblings, uh, wait, what is he even here? Yeah, I think that might be him. I think that's her brother Ugo. But he definitely looks the most African. And look at this dude too. You see, you obviously tell he has some black in him. Obviously tell they have some black in him. Okay, and the younger ones are just like children of them. So okay. So there's my grandmother. You can see she had curly, wavy-ish type hair. Okay, that's my grandmother. And yes, that's my grandmother. That's the mother of my father. Okay. Then this is my grandmother's grandmother. So this is her father's mother. She definitely looks like she got a good amount of African in her. Like I know it's a really old picture because she must have been from the 1800s, I guess. Yeah, definitely. So it's an old ass picture, but my great great grandmother. And yes, yeah. And oh, here's a better one. Fuck. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, so here's my great great grandmother. She obviously has some African in her. Obviously, she looks like she has a good amount of African. The husband, I don't think he has that much. Y'all gonna see right now. Y'all gonna look at him. Y'all gonna tell me, This is her husband, my grandmother's grandfather. He definitely looks mixed, but I don't know how much. I don't know if he. I think most of the African definitely gonna be come from my great great grandmother. Definitely, for sure, no doubt. It's like just look at her. Look, yeah, she definitely looks like she got something in her. And him, I don't know. I don't know. The dude looks interesting and all, but I don't know what dude. He looks mostly white, I think, to me. And but yeah. So it's my grandmother. She had big old juicy lips, a big booty, wide nose, all that, and wavy curly type hair. Okay, and this is her father, so my great grandfather. And you can obviously tell his hair got a lot of texture to it. It's not nothing really. I mean, Spaniards can get curly hair. Don't get me wrong, but you could like just look at the texture of his hair. Obviously has a lot of like product in it, but you can definitely tell he's mixed race, and you could see a little bit black in him. I'm pretty sure. Look at those lips. Look at that hair. The eyes too. I think look a little African. I'm not sure, but let's see. This is my grandmother when she was a kid with her brother, and yes, cute little baby. I love you. I would. Okay, so there's her siblings, two of her siblings, I think, or but I think her brother's the youngest. So I don't know who that might be. Might be a cousin or something. But that's my grandmother and her big sister. Like you could just look at them, you could definitely tell my grandmother got a little African in her. Her sister got the more native nose, and where's my grandma? My grandmother's the one making the funny face right there. That's my grandmother, and that's her sister, and that must be a cousin or something. But there we go. See, I got wavy, curly-ish hair. Okay. And fuck, I think that's her. Hold up. Fuck, I don't know who that is. I don't know who the dude is. I don't think that's her brother. No, but there's my grandmother right there. Please comment. Y'all tell me, can you see the African in my grandmother? Can you see the African in her dad and her grandmother? Can you? I think I can see it. Her nose doesn't look that native at all to me. Here's a better picture. So I feel like I can see it. I feel like I can see she got a little African in her. No doubt. Yeah. So that's my grandmother. And yeah, look at her nose, like those juicy lips. Um, I don't know. She just looks like she got some African in her to me. There's a better picture of my grandmother. In the 70s and shit. Oh, I love that hairdo. But okay, here we go. Here's another picture of my grandmother. Yeah. It's been like in her early 20s and this, her late teens. I know I got a lot of these pictures, but it's a really good one. So, yup. Here's her. So please, y'all comment. I don't know who that lady is, but that's my grandmother right there. My grandmother, my great aunt, and her son. His dad is from Quito. He don't got no African from his dad's side. Definitely, that's his dad right there. My grandmother, my great aunts, and there's my great aunt from when I had met her. Definitely tell she straightens her hair though. But I mean, look at her eyes. Her eyes look mad native. She has the more native nose than my grandma for sure. And then here's my grandmother again. You look at her figure. Like she definitely did not have like a native cuadrada body. Like look at her nose. That nose is not native for sure. Yes. She's also of Sephardic Jewish descent though. She's about as much Sephardic as native though. And that's her mother. So again, she's from YQ too. She probably does have African in her. I think the dad has more though. So there's my grandmother and her brother. I think her brother, you could see the African blood stronger in him. I think you can tell. I don't know. He got curly hair. And then here are my two great grandparents. Well, my great grandparents, my grandmother's parents. So you could see my great grandfather has some color to him. You can see there's some African in there. Like, look, take a good look at him. Pause, observe, look at his nose. So, I don't know. I can tell he has a little bit in him. And my dad said that too. Like when he had met him, like way before I seen these pictures. But also the grandmother does look like she might have a little bit in here too. So I don't know. You know. But yeah, there's my grandmother again. We saw that picture. I don't know how many times. Okay, here we go. Like I said from before, children of my great aunts and uncles and stuff. And but here we go, my great grandfather and my great grandmother. So there he is. There she is. There, yeah. My two great grandparents. And another good picture where you can tell he looks like he has the most obvious amount of African in him. And there we go. We got my great grandmother and my great grandfather right there. Then my great grandmother again right here. My grandma, my great aunts, my great uncle, my uncle, my dad, my grandfather. And he's just married into the family though. Shout out dude though, he's really cool. So there's me and my dad. Okay, me and my dad. I had straight hair as a kid. 17 in this picture. Then this is me like I was what, I was like 16 here. Yeah, my hair was mad fucking curly. Mad fucking curly. And so like, and my nose is wide, so like people in school would ask me like, you got black in you? And I'd be like, nah, I didn't care about all that back then, but so I didn't know. I mean like can you tell I got African in me? I think the wide nose and the curly hair might throw it off, but my Spaniard side has curly hair too, because my grandmother, she's got sleeves and she got curly ass fucking hair. And There's my grandmother again. Not, I'm not talking about this grandma. I'm talking about my other grandmother, who has no African blood in her. She got curly hair, so curly hair doesn't have to be an African thing. There's my grandmother again. There's me again, and this is a more recent picture of me. I just washed my hair. Like, yeah, but I don't know. My nose obviously looks mixed, but my nose actually looks a lot like my grandmother's. I don't know, to be honest. And now let's check out what y'all been waiting for. If you haven't seen my DNA results or whatever already. I don't got much African in me, but I get it all from one side of my family. So all that is concentrated in my grandmother. So let's check out my DNA results. Let me go check out my dad's, and then that's it. Okay, so my African ancestry: 3% Benin and 1% Mali. Okay, so I grew up around Haitians. I grew up around Haitians, and I know voodoo comes from Benin. So that made me really happy to see that I had Benin in me. And Mali, an amazing empire, whatever. Shout out Mali, shout out Benin. Okay, and then let's go on to my dad. So I got 4% African in total, and my dad got 4% Benin and 1% Mali. So before the update, our African regions were different, and now we both got Benin and Mali. So that's really cool. I really like that. That's lit. That's awesome. So shout out Benin and shout out Mali. So this is where my African ancestry comes from. For sure, I'm sure if I tested, one of my grandmother's siblings, if they let me, I can't even guarantee that, But one day maybe you'll see Benin and Mali too. So okay, so shout out to Benin though, shout out to Mali too. But since Benin is where most of it comes from, let's yeah, this y'all can pause and look at this. But shout out Benin though, shout out Benin. I'm happy I descend from the Benin people. You know, shout out my Benin and my Malian ancestors who were enslaved and brought to Ecuador. Thank you for my itsy little piece of African ancestry. I'm proud of that. I'm proud to have that in me. It may be a little bit, but I'm proud to have it in me. Like my mother has none at all, so I could be like that, but I'm not. I actually have African ancestors way back when, and that. I'm proud of that. I'm happy to say that I got that in me. All of the history of my country, of Latin America, is in my veins, and I'm proud to have that in me. Okay. Oh, this is the most important part. Slave trade. European slave traders first became a force on the coast of West Africa by 1475. Portuguese traders had reached the Bight of Benin, and by mid 1500s, Spain and England had also legalized the slave trade. As the demand for slaves grew, the kingdom of Dahomey and others in the region provided European traders with constant supply in exchange for goods and firearms. Dahomey, which had a long paid tribute to the Yoruba nation of Oyo, used its new weapon and power to throw off that yoke. More than 2 million slaves were sent from the Bight of Benin to the New World. So 2 million, okay. And among them were from Benin, Togo's major ethnic groups, the Aja, the Mina, Iwe, Ifan groups of this region were the third most enslaved group sent to the New World. A great number of these went to Haiti and Brazil. You see, I told ya, because they practice voodoo out in Haiti, so that's what's up. Where they established their traditional religious practices. Ooh, and as a word known today as voodoo Zateria. Ooh, I told you, I didn't even read that yet. A great number of these went to Haiti and Brazil, where they established their traditional religious practices and ancestor worship, better known today as voodoo, Santeria, and Macumba. Ho, shout out my motherfucking dudes. So I grew up around Haitians. So that's all love that I have a little bit of them in me. Well, we share ancestors from Benin. That's really cool. I'm really proud to have that in me. And Mali, it's just 1%. I mean, I would get into Mali, but y'all know about Mali probably. I don't know. They had an empire and shit. Fuck it, y'all. You figure it out yourself. But shout out to Benin though. Shout out to Benin. Shout out to my African ancestors. And yes, I have Black African ancestry in me. Okay, it's not much, but I have it in me. It's still in my ancestry. That comes all from my grandmother. That's all love. I love my grandmother. I love her parents. I love having this blood in me. Shout out to my African ancestors. Shout out to my grandmother. Shout out to Guayaquil, Ecuador. Shout out to the coast of Ecuador. Shout out to all of our Afro-Ecuadorians. Shout out to all Afro-Latinos. Shout out to everybody in the African diaspora. Shout out to everybody with African ancestry in them, regardless. It's all love. We family. We family. Thank you, Africa, for my ancestry. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it greatly. Y'all lit. I love you. And that's it, y'all. Shout out to my African ancestors. Hope y'all enjoyed this video.